Do you need a gun to hike the Appalachian Trail? No.
No, you've been a good friend. And that's in the...
Did you bring a gun is probably one of the most common questions I get about my AT through hike. And to answer that, no, I did not. But because it's such a common question, I decided to do a little bit more research and find out why you might actually need one. I contacted the Appalachian Trail Conservancy about deaths, murders, robberies, and animal attacks, and this is what they had to say. User surveys in the last few decades have put use of the Appalachian Trail at about 2 to 3 million visits a year, and the number is now likely higher. Each year there are usually several deaths on the AT from natural causes. 3 to 4 a year is probably the average. Heart attack is the most common. Falls are usually the second most common. Right there we know you're most likely to die from heart attack or falling, and those are two things that you can't shoot your way out of. So what about murders? In the AT's known history, 9 hikers have been murdered in 7 incidents. So 9 murders in the AT's known history. Let's do some math. The AT was completed in 1937, which as of 2018 would make the Appalachian Trail 81 years old. If you take the low end of visits a year at 2 million and times that by 81, you get 160 million visitors since the birth of the AT. Now out of 160 million people, only 9 have been murdered. That means you have a 1 in 17,777,777.777 chance of being murdered. So do you need a gun for that? Maybe, if you're very optimistic or pessimistic, depending on how you want to look at it. Let's take a look at robberies. Armed robberies are rare, with fewer than 1 a year. We do not have statistics on unarmed robberies, but ATC and our NPS partners receive reports of a few pack thefts each year, or wallets, or other gear. Most often these occur when a hiker leaves gear unattended or hitchhikes. Okay, I can't get my Rain Man on here and crunch numbers, but no matter if or how you get robbed, it doesn't matter because statistically you're not getting murdered, so you don't need a gun anyway. Just keep an eye on your stuff. I recommend the buddy system. I know people that had cell phones or packs stolen, and that's because they left it unattended. So just keep an eye on your shit. Time for some animal attacks. Animal attacks are also rare. Most often these are in the form of rabid animals. 1 or 2 hikers a year may be bitten by a rabid skunk or raccoon. Attacks by bears are also rare, but bears can be quite aggressive about getting food from hikers when they have become habituated to human food and may bluff charge in an attempt to get hikers to drop their food. In 2017, 5 shelters were closed due to aggressive bears. The closures occur after multiple incidents. Okay, so 1 or 2 people a year get attacked by some sort of animal. And I just want to say, I'm sorry, but if a rabid skunk is coming at me and I'm armed, I'm blowing that little fucker away. But still, that means you've got a 1 in 500,000 chance of getting attacked by a woodland creature. So there you have it. You have a roughly 1 in 17.8 million chance of being murdered, a who knows in 2 million chance of being robbed, but you still don't need a gun because you're not getting murdered, and a 1 in 500,000 chance of being attacked by an animal. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't think carrying the weight is worth the very minute chance that you might actually need a gun. However, there is something that attacks roughly 5% of through hikers. What's that, you might ask? Ticks! That's right. The animal most likely to cause harm are ticks. They carry Lyme disease and other diseases, and roughly 5% of through hikers report contracting Lyme disease. That's the only figure that the Appalachian Trail Conservancy has a solid figure on. So the biggest thing you need to be worried about are ticks. And I just want to point out that snakes eat ticks. So don't go being Bear Grylls, then you're gonna kill and eat a rattlesnake that tastes like chicken. You're gonna be a big old mountain man. Because then you're only killing something that helps protect you from the one thing that you actually should be worried about. So, there you have it. Do you need a gun on the AT? No. Well, maybe. And just FYI, all the murderers in all the cases were caught and convicted with the exception of the last one in 2011, which still remains unsolved.